If you break a wrench on this one, it's officially your fault you keep breaking wrenches on these products.
I know, should have a screwdriver.
Yeah.
I should have a screwdriver.
You should have your broken screwdriver, yes.
See, I tell you to keep broken screwdrivers for a reason. This is a quick one. Unlike a lot of old vehicles, this old Cherokee HIllbilly Express has a power drain. And if you don't disconnect the battery each time, it will run the battery dead. It also runs the chance of, while you're not watching it, wherever the drain is could short something out or even
catch
So you don't want to leave it unwatched with the battery connected. It's something that will sort out over time, hopefully. But until then, you can buy these. There's a variety of different types in your store. They're a quick disconnect. And what they do is you just open the hood and do that, and it disconnects the battery from the electrical system. Just put it on the positive terminal. Also helps sometimes if you have a gap and you're having trouble with the cable. It gives you a little more space. You can get spacers like this too that don't even have that. I like this style because it's simple. You can also get, there's another style that's got a threaded fitting. I had one of those on another old vehicle, and they were extremely aggravating to connect and disconnect, so I do not recommend them if you're actually having to disconnect it regularly. That's more for like an RV, when you have a battery you take in and out every time you park it. That's convenient because you're not having to undo everything. You just disconnect that. You can get them for threaded terminals too, the bolt-in terminals, so they're a little more convenient for those as well.
Now, what if I have a new one? Say I got a 2013 Cadillac that's got a battery drain. Would this be a good idea?
You can't do this on newer cars really, because the computer needs battery, and every time you disconnect the battery you have to reset things. Some of them you really need to keep a power source on the computer or it'll really cause problems. So this is more for old vehicles, pre-computer vehicles.
So basically 2000 and back, or?
I can't say it won't be anything for 2000, because there were a few vehicles sold in the US in 2000 that still the computers are pretty primitive. But generally you're looking at vehicles mid 80s and back. So
okay,
it's going to be, you have a bunch of modules instead of having a central computer. Modules like that AMC tagged one there that control the electronic components, which they're basically computers too, but they're just a simple circuit computer, so they don't have a need for a constant power.
Yeah. So in the realm of computer things, they're more closer to an Atari 2600 than they are to an Xbox One or PlayStation 5.
My only complaint on these things, if for some reason they're always made for the tiniest batteries. This is spec'd for 12 volt, but for some reason they always go off of, well, I guess you go off of what would be the smallest one on the market, so they're sized for the smallest one on the market. Which means you guys stretch them out to get them to fit. Try not to break the plastic.
That would be bad.
Yeah. Why don't I do the one without the ratcheting thing so I can get it in there a little better?
If you break a wrench on this one, it's officially your fault you keep breaking wrenches on these products.
I know, should have a screwdriver.
Yeah.
I should have a screwdriver.
You should have your broken screwdriver, yes.
See, I tell you to keep broken screwdrivers for a reason.
What about, is this going to be a case, are we good, or do we need to have dielectric grease or something on it?
It's good to have battery terminal stuff. I am going to get the battery terminal spray once this is all together and coat it. You can use dielectric too. Just something to help prevent corrosion from building up.
Yeah. I can tell you that from personal experience. On my first car, I didn't know what battery corrosion even was. Oh, my batteries or terminals are turning green. I wonder why. Oh, now my car won't start. It's literally my thought process on that. So if your car's not starting and your terminals are green and not silver, that might be the reason. And the battery protection stuff's pretty cheap too.
Oh yeah. I got a spray in the garage, just got to go back for it. And this seems to also be universal. They always are set for the smallest batteries, even if they are spec'd for car batteries.
Looks like that's not even fitting on a 9-volt right now.
Yeah. But if you look at it, that terminal's pretty close to the same size. I don't know why they do that, which actually makes a good point on that. See, that's going to have to be tightened down. So yeah, you run into little things like that. This is a negative terminal feed one. So the positive terminal feed one.
I've never heard of that. Of course, I've never heard of this either. So
yeah, that's why it's made for this metal one, which I have just gotten open right. So, also check the variety you get. The screw-on ones are for the positive. But either way, it cuts the circuit so it won't drain the battery. And before I tighten this down, I gotta check to make sure it's gonna clear the hood good. Let's see if I can do it this way. It will, but I don't like that.
If you're not
technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's getting awfully close to the metal hood, and if
I know it.
Both prongs touch the metal hood, it's no longer a battery disconnect. Now it's a hood death trap. Will that swing that way?
Well, I have to push it down, but I don't know if it's going to clear either. This battery is terminaled on the wrong side. If it was over here, I could do it pretty easily back there for the negative.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those Walmart never starts, so.
See if it's in the right spot, that'd be easy enough.
Or a side terminal.
Because I'll put that on there too, and that should give me a good height guide. And if that's pushed down, it'll tell me. Yeah, nothing struck there. So, that should clear.
I guess.
Well, I say that, unless I something struck that. I bet you that bar did.
I was looking
but
at
that means back here it didn't strike anything.
I know the perfect tool for this job.
I'm going to try this and see if it works.
Sledgehammer.
Rough on the battery. Okay. Now, of course there's some scuffs on that cardboard, but watch yourself. No, it didn't hit on that end. That was just a scuff in the paper. Okay. So yeah, it's not hitting anything. Now you learn the trick to check if you're hitting something.
You could also try to use chalk or something.
Yeah, a piece of cardboard works too, because you can see the dents it puts in the paper.
Yeah.
And you can see where the board hit that. Well, that's where the thing was in the box. It would have worked better before. I will check it a third time before I get everything set and done.
I'm not even sure if it moved the paper.
Yeah, it didn't. Two little dents in it. I gotta double check for the other side, see if it makes two little dents. It may be contacting the corner somehow. Yep, it's contacting that corner a little bit, so let's try twisting this a little bit. Double check, but I didn't see any dip points, but the other ones, there's one maybe.
I think you're going to have to possibly bite the bullet and reapply the fiberglass up here.
Yeah, no impact.
Yeah. Get you some thermal insulation, some sound insulation, and protect.
Whole nother problem. Getting the cable back over here. The only potential problem with this one on the negative is if something's grounding out, it may still drain the battery down.
That's true. He's not just playing with the switch, he's looking for something there.
Yeah, I'm just making sure it's not shorting a spark already. And then this is all together. Then I've got to, I'll turn the lights on, make sure the lights work. That's a good test. And then I'll let it run for a little bit after I get that done. Actually, why not? That'll really tell us if I can get it to stay open.
Sure, just tear it off.
That was the idea.
By the way, please like, share, and subscribe.
Yep.
Help us out. We want money. And we're not going to get paid unless we get enough subscribers and stuff. So please help us out.
That gives what's going on there and there, so I can see if it makes any contact. And we close it again. I'm giving it a moment. Make indents in the plastic goods.
Okay.
If it's going to.
Letting it set.
Also to put my knife away. It knocked it over, but it didn't make any impact, so.
Or did it not make any impact because it knocked it over?
That's a good question. Still looks like it might be impacting, but oh, that's right. I keep getting this over here, and I just realized what I'm being stupid with. It's hanging over, so it's coming in contact with that piece of metal right there. And that's why I'm getting indents, and I think it might be making contact, and it's not.
I'll tell you what we need. We need that rubber in a can stuff.
Just laid it.
I forget what the name of it is.
Yeah, no impact once I got rid of the end off of it. Making my life difficult. One step at a time.
As per usual.
Alright. Now let's try and see if the lights come on. That's on. I need to fix that.
Little bit.
A little bit of crazy glue to take care of it. Actually, I gotta figure it. That's always one of those things I kind of go back and forth on. Yeah, lights are working good. Now let's see if they disconnect when I disconnect them. Negative. And no battery, so there's no short ground. Okay. So it should be good. It's not drawing any power while. So yeah. There's also a way to solve if you have a light switch that won't work.
Like if you tore it off.
You want daytime running lights all the time. If you get a vehicle and you have a light switch that's shorted out and you got to hardwire it, if you have one of these on one of these old vehicles, that takes care of that too. But it's not a permanent fix. This isn't even a permanent fix on this. This is just temporary until I can hopefully, I think it's probably the old radio head in there that's drawing power. And it does not have a plate. So there's no way to adjust it. I'm going to replace that radio head. I think once I replace that radio head and get where you can give it power or take power off of it, it'll quit drawing. So that should be fixed, but until then, this will work.
So, like somebody routed the radio head wrong. I mean, even I know that. You don't direct connect the radio head to the battery.
And it's one of those, I don't think it's so much that they routed it wrong originally, because we used to not have this problem. I think it's the fact that they use cheap wiring and it's shorted out.
Could be that too.
So now it's drawing power. Because it only started doing this about a year ago.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that it's the only thing that's only variable really makes sense is that radio has started shorting out. Otherwise, it's somewhere in the wiring harness there's a short drawing.
But I like blaming radio head.
But yeah, that's a better one. But so first I'll do this, and now I'm just going to get some terminal spray and spray these.
You gonna start her up?
Yeah, although I don't have a key. Okay, the cable's done something. It has flared out. Yeah, what I'm getting at is the top of this has a ridge on it, like it's been pushed out, and I don't know how it got flared like that.
I don't know.
That's weird. I don't know.
I just know I've broken those before, and they're not fun to fix.
Yeah, these are new cables. So these have been fixed already.
How do you know you tightened your battery terminal on your cable? You split it.
Yeah. And this is actually a cable that's it's not too big for this vehicle, but that's a big rig cable.
Yeah.
So it's made for a bigger battery terminal, so it's a little aggravating. That's why it looks so ugly. But no, I don't know why that's ridged up like that. That's strange.
Alrighty. So we're gonna find out if she starts her up.
Yep. I gotta go get the key though.
Alrighty.
I had to come back and spray the terminals later. But when in doubt, always make use of what you have. So it's definitely not going to make contact with the hood now.
You ever wonder why we call him Crazy Karl?
And there she is.
Alrighty. Well,
We'll say one thing, you got to be careful with that if you do end up in a situation. But if you have a car that you can't shut off, that will not do it. Then you really do have to have a proper disconnect. That's a racing quick disconnect. That's a whole other animal. This does not work for that. I know that's kind of irrelevant, especially for this project, but some people might think this would work for a racing disconnect, and it does not.
no.
Because that kills power to the whole engine and everything in the car. And that's it for today.
Alrighty.
It was a quick, short one. Made running. Still like backfiring. It's running a little rich. I need to drive it more.
You do.
That's one thing, when you let an engine sit, it gets unhappy.
Yeah.
I think that was a big problem with it. You know? That makes it unhappy too. When you have coils that aren't connected.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Now she's happy. Well, we're back to having an 8-cylinder. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
That would explain why she wasn't being real happy.
Okay. Well, I think
Fixed. I fixed 2 things in one show. I don't even know what that caused that.
Hey.
Welcome to my life.
Yes.
Until next time.
Y'all have a good
one. So long.